So I got a comment on one of my videos that I wanted to talk about. Um, it says, please do not move the comic. Take still photos of every page or frame. I read the original. I am 70 now. So it's really, I think, for me, really awesome and kind of humbling to be able to represent these stories to someone who read them originally. And I want everyone to be able to enjoy it. And I get it. I understand. Although he's not specifying what the issue is, my guess is it's because he finds it unpleasant when I move around the comic, particularly at the rate in which I move it. And so he would prefer a still photo rather than moving around. And I want to go through why that's changing up how I do it, why I do it the way I do it, and the difficulty in changing up how I do it. And it kind of makes me think back to years ago when I used to work out at a gym where the step aerobics was in the floor above, and I would sit there and I remember thinking, what is going on? It felt like I was having some kind of like mild stroke or something. And I finally figured out that what was going on was as the people upstairs were doing their steps, it would cause a compression on the ceiling enough that the air pressure would change, and it was really bothering me. But other people didn't even, not only didn't it seem to bother them, they didn't even recognize what I was feeling. And I just had to kind of just get over it and live with it. But I didn't like it, and I know that some people find it not great when I'm sitting there moving around the comic, and so I did take a photo just to kind of show. So this is a page out of one of the adventure comics, Legion of Superheroes, and you could see a few problems. Number one, I people want the videos to be done in portrait mode, not, I'm sorry, landscape mode, not portrait, which means we've got all this dead space on either side. Okay. I would have to be really careful. You could see the lighting in here. When I took this photo, we got some shadow down here, the light source there. So I'd have to set it up so that it would illuminate it uniformly. And the other problem is I get all of these from from Omnibus, and the Omnibus will not. I cannot get a flat surface for them like a comic book, and so you can see here it's like that. And also now you're not really, even if this was perfectly lit, you can't really see the detailing because it's now much further away than if I'm holding it. And so that's a problem. Now, could I go through and go frame by frame? And that's a lot of work. And I don't know that for most people that's a better experience, because I still tend to, you have to understand that for YouTube, some everyone's different. Some people will sit there and they'll just carefully watch a video and enjoy it. A lot of people, you need to keep going fast. And when I look at the analytics, I can tell you that people are bailing out after like 30 seconds, because we as a society, we our attention span keeps getting smaller and smaller. And so that's why I go through these comics very quickly. I try to keep them under 10 minutes, but more like 6 or 7 minutes, which means going through a 10 to 12 page story, I got to keep moving. And so it might even if I went frame by frame, I'd be flipping, because a lot of times I'll just jump from section to section. If I feel like there's a part in here that really isn't that important to the story, I'll just skip over 3, 4 frames. And for me to sit there and just, I never wanted to sit there and just read it verbatim, because I think people would get very bored. So I skim through it, but I try to do it so that there's enough information to understand the story and get a feel for it without going through and reading every bit of dialogue. So I feel like if I was making some people happy by going frame by frame, I'd be making an even larger group of people unhappy, bored. And so and just the effort involved in going through and cutting out frame by frame, putting it in like a slideshow and flipping through, I don't think it would work. I have attempted to, I think that for me, I am trying to become more cognizant of holding my hand steady, but I can also kind of attempt to jump around less, attempt to make it smoother. And this isn't the first complaint. I got another one. And I've dealt with this issue on my other YouTube channel, where I ended up going with a stationary fixed camera, but I can't do it on these, not in the way that I'm presenting this stuff. And I really want everyone to enjoy what I'm doing, but it's either technologically unfeasible for me because I don't do any editing. To add in editing and all that work, I probably would just stop doing it because this is I can't put in a whole ton of effort. I mean, I'm trying my best, but to go through frame by frame and cut them out, and then I just think the presentation would actually be worse than what it is now. So, like I said, I'm trying to, and I've become more aware of just that the camera will move even when I'm breathing. And so I try and kind of account for that and keep my arm as steady as possible as I'm moving around. But I'm already I have like 30 videos that are created but not published. So anything that I do in trying to hold my arm steady, and I have been trying, is not going to be for a while because I have like a month's worth of videos before you'd even get to one where I'm trying harder. But I want people to give me feedback. But at this point, I don't know that there's another solution, a better solution, and I'm open for ideas. But I just don't think that doing the page or even the frame is the solution. And I'm not sure what the solution is. I did try and used a fixed camera over the book. It absolutely didn't work. It was not, there was no way I was going to be able to do that. Plus, you know, like I said, when I hold it in my hand, I'm able to focus in on just maybe the 2 frames, you know, this section here, or 4 frames or whatever. And so you can see the artwork better. But I understand that to some people, moving around, having the camera move around is not a pleasant experience. So I will try my best, but I recognize that the format that I'm doing is not for everyone. But I am trying my best. Thank you.